Hi and welcome back to the channel. I'm Steven today with a scale figure review. Right in front of me we have a 1x7 scale Shuten Douji Eirei Matsuri version from Fate's Grand Order. This figure is made by Questio and she goes for just under 20,000 yen official retail price. I got her for 19k plus, so there were no discounts. I could have waited for a few months more and hope for the price to fall a bit, but I wasn't very patient, especially with Shuten Douji, one of my favorite characters in FGO. I simply love her for her character design. So with this figure, she came out like a couple of months ago in late 2022, but I just purchased her very recently with another Narrow Claudius figure, which will be my next review after her. Shuten Douji is an Oni or a demon in Japanese folklore, though the outfit she is dressing up as in this version is a jiangshi or a hopping zombie, which is something I'm very familiar with in Chinese folklore. So it is very interesting in the sense that we have a Japanese Oni dressing up as another different zombie from Chinese folklore. Very interesting indeed, but it works for her. This combination works. She looks great in this version over here. This is a typical 1x7 scale figure. I really forgot to measure her height, but this should be around 23 centimeters, I think. This figure of Shuten Douji is the one that is on the simpler side compared to the one I reviewed recently, Soji Okita by Good Smile. That is a far more complex figure and a larger one. So when you compare this figure to that Soji Okita I reviewed, this figure feels expensive in the sense that Soji Okita can be had for also around 20,000 yen. With a discount, of course, she is more like 25k. However, once you look at this figure a lot closer, you will start to appreciate the work that Questio has put into making this figure, because this figure is borderline perfect. It is really good. But before we go into the details of this figure, we take a quick look at her box. So this is what her box looks like. It is fairly attractive in the design department. Very flashy, very nice colors over there. However, I do wish that the box is a bit more robust. This is just an ordinary cardboard box, not something very tough. However, this box arrived in the mail in perfect condition, no dents anyway, so I guess I won't complain too much about the box. But if you would like to see the unboxing of this figure, I actually published a short video on my channel as well. You can check it out. So that is all for the box. We move on to the actual figure itself, which I am actually full of praise for this figure. There really isn't much wrong with this figure. Starting from the sculpting all the way to the paint job, there really isn't any flaw at all that is visible to the human eye, at least. Perhaps if I use the macro lens and get very close to the figure like a magnifying glass, I could spot one or two spots, but my camera wasn't really able to capture it. So if my camera is unable to see those tiny spots, then it is not visible to the human eye, therefore it is not an issue at all. The paint job, the sculpt, everything virtually flawless on this figure. I was very pleased given that Questio had their own occasional hiccups in the past. Only one figure from my experienced Elizabeth Battery. But other than that, this figure of Shuten Douji is possibly one of the better figures, if not the best figures coming out from Questio to late. Look at those fingernails over there. They are very precisely painted. The face of this figure, yep, it is a bit difficult to photograph or film this figure because you have that thing in front blocking the face and casting shadows on it. But that is 100% Shuten Douji, exactly like what we see in the official product photos, in the artwork even. So in the sculpt department, this is like 9.5 out of 10, 10 of 10 even. I don't have any issues with it at all. The precision of the paintwork on this figure is just outstanding. Look at those gold color trims, shiny blue color trims all over her outfits over there. You can't see a single scratch or paint bleeding over the edges into other parts. None of that in front and behind the figure, everywhere. So the quality control of this figure is really top notch. It is among the best I have seen from Questio yet so far. The head of this figure is removable and it is magnetic. I love magnetic parts. Every figure with removable parts like heads or even a tail anything you can think of, they should come with a magnetic system instead of the outdated back system. Magnets is something I always look forward to in figures with removable parts, but they don't always happen. Native and a few other X-rated figure brands, they have been doing this for a long time. But it is not very common yet in ordinary, or I would say safe for work scale figures by other figure companies. So I would love to see this kind of thing more often in figures like this one over here. Amakuni's Helena Blavatsky, which I reviewed long ago, that's a very long old video 2 years ago, they also use a magnetic system. So this is fabulous no matter how you look at it. However, there is one single problem with this figure, only one, and it has to do with the support. Apparently, Questq thinks that one single metal foot peg is enough for this figure. I can certainly see the logic over here because this is a very lightweight figure and the weight balance is right there. It is not one-sided heavy or anything. So theoretically, one single metal foot peg is enough, but as a result, the figure can be a bit wobbly when you shake it, which isn't a good thing. However, in my case over here, I did not fully plug the figure into the base. I left behind a 1.5mm gap or so that I can remove the figure from the base a lot more easily after this. So maybe if I push the figure further in, the figure will be a bit more stable, but one single metal foot peg isn't exactly ideal. But at the same time, maybe not an issue with this figure over here. The base, while being a plain plastic base, a simple plastic base, but at least it looks fairly attractive over here. There seems to be 2 layers of plastic. You have a transparent acrylic on top with this decal, and then at the bottom you have a red color sheet of plastic, which is attractive enough. But at the same time, this kind of material, transparent material, it is very easy to accidentally scratch them. So you will want to take extra care when you are handling this figure overall. At the end of this review, I can certainly highly recommend this figure of Shuten Douji. If you are looking to pick her up, yes, go for it. 19,000 yen, I wanted to say it is on the high side of things when it comes to pricing, but really I would say it is reasonable when you think about every other single scale figure out there, their pricing before discount. We are talking about the pricing before discount. Then it makes sense that this thing is about 18 or 19k. It is reasonable. The Soji Okita example I gave earlier, yeah, that thing is actually 25k before discounts. Hopefully her price comes down a bit, but Shuten Douji is a very popular character, so I don't know if that will ever happen. So if you own this figure of Shuten Douji, what do you think? Let me know down in the comments below, and I really appreciate you watching this review all the way to the end. If you enjoyed this review, please do consider giving this video a like and subscribing to this channel for more content like this in the future. Thank you very much for watching and see you guys again very soon. Goodbye.